for your grace, I'd go my way. I'm forever grateful. You have been so faithful to me, Lord. Your amazing grace.
Hello, I'm Pastor Jerry Davis, and welcome to Power Surge Wednesday. In light of the verdict in the case against the officer in the George Floyd murder trial, I thought we should talk about the danger of exercising the abuse of power. You know, many in our society today are given the authority to execute justice in the defense of our own citizens. But too often, and one time is too often, we have a miscarriage of justice when a trusted official go beyond their legal duties by exercising an abuse of power. What is an abuse of power? An abuse of power is when you use excess force to mete out punishment, or you could use your position for personal gain. Mistreat someone or something for personal reasons, or simply the mismanagement of an office, title, or position intentionally, oftentimes just because you can. You know, Jesus spoke about the abuse of power. Once he and his disciples were on their way to Jerusalem, but they were going through Samaria. You're going to find this story over in Luke, the 9th chapter, the 52nd verse through the 55th verse. Let me just read it for you. It says, "And he sent messengers before his face, and they went, and they entered into a village of the Samaritans to make ready for him. And they did not receive him," talking about the Samaritans, "because he had set his face as though he would go to Jerusalem. And when his disciples James and John saw this, they said, 'Lord, wilt thou that we command fire to come down from heaven and consume them, even as Elias did?' But Jesus turned and he rebuked them, and he said, 'You know not what manner of spirit you are of.'" Let me say that again. They had the power to call down fire from heaven and destroy the Samaritans who did not greet them as they was coming through town. Jesus turned and he rebuked them. They had the power to do it, but he says it should not be so. You know not what spirit you are. In other words, you don't take the power of God and use it in a unjust manner, or, as I was saying earlier, use your power to mete out punishment unjustly. Truth of the matter is, all of us will sit in the seat of power if you don't already. As parents, we are entrusted to raise up our children and to manage our own household. You, as a parent, yield the power over that domain, over your own household, not the police. And yet, far too many times, there has to be a higher power or authority called in because someone has abused their own child. I say far too many times. Again, I reiterate, one time is too many. Think about it. Pastors, those that would manipulate your members for self-gain. Jesus says, "Do you know what spirit that abide or reside within you?" As ordinary citizens, we must be very careful. Listen, whether we are in a jubilant state or an angry state, not to celebrate or protest beyond the authority that's given us. You know, it is my sincere prayer that before we exercise our God-given powers, that we would simply stop, think, and then proceed in a manner in which our work would glorify our God in the dispense of our duties. Listen, I'm Pastor Jerry Davis, and I'm praying for you, and I ask if you would pray for me.